Hello. How you doing, guys? I got good news. Exciting news. Exciting for myself, actually. But probably for you as well, if you like my content. And other than that, there's not much that happened today, but there were a couple of interesting things on Twitter, which I would love to go through. Everyone is talking about Twitter right now, which is really interesting because without that, we would be talking about the Ukraine. I'm actually bored about these specific topics. Did you notice, like, is it just me or there used to be a time when the news was, dare I say, more diverse? Now it's like, the pandemic, Trump bad, the Ukraine. It's like the same news over and freaking over. It's real interesting. But now we get to talk about Twitter. We get to take a break from that. So I'm happy, at least, that I get to have something else. What do you say? Double video. It's not double video. It's the way YouTube works. If I want to raid myself, I gotta stream when I'm streaming myself on the other channel. So but yeah, it is tiresome. War fatigue. Well, you know, I'm not in Ukraine. I can't say that I have war fatigue, but hearing about it, I mean, it causes anxiety. What can I say? And there's nothing you can do about it. So too much anxiety is not good. Let me tell you something funny. So, this is, I mean, I spilled my tea when I read this, but it happened today. So, as you know, Elon Musk is asking people to pay $8 for their blue check mark. And one person I need to show you. Like, I can't just... Look at this. Could negotiate $8 Twitter fee with Elon Musk. The Turkish fucking president. The Sultan himself. The Sultan himself is going to be, you know what? Might be different for us. We could carry out some diplomacy with him as well. The Sultan doesn't want to pay the... Oh my God. The Sultan does not pay the infidel, alright? The kafir. After buying Twitter for $44 billion, Mr. Musk said that the company will charge $8, but apparently it might be different from us. Mr. Erdogan said when asked about the new change for the blue check, we could carry out some diplomacy as well. A blue check mark needs a person username and the social media for them to comply. More than 80% of Twitter users who took part in a recent poll said that they would not pay for the checkmark. That's okay, you can be replaced. We got the blue checkmark replacement theory going on Twitter. Musk said on Tuesday that subscribers with blue checkmarks would get priority. Oh my God, what? I know this actress. I recognize... What movie is this? Is she from Heroes? Whatever. You know, like, sorry, I got distracted. There were a couple of beautiful things over there on the right corner of that. Is that like when you go to a bazaar? Have you guys been to Turkey? Like, it's actually part of the culture. Like, if you go to a Turkish bazaar, you get to negotiate on things. So, like, you want to buy a jacket. And they will say, $100, Effendi, you know? And you're like, sure, I'll take it. And then the guy feels bad, right? Because the jacket is not actually worth $100. Like, you're supposed to haggle. Like, that is part of the shopping experience. It's part of their culture. Like, you're supposed to go to the bazaar and you're supposed to haggle. So, like, the initial prices are really high and you bring them down and you get to feel like you made the deal. But in reality, you never get to make a deal because the merchant, like, knows the actual price of the wear. And he's not going to go under it anyway. So you know, it is that the experience. And what I like to see is the Sultan, like, going to Elon Musk. You know, we can haggle. I will never go to Turkey. Why? It's a nice place. Especially the bazaars. But I did like it. You know, it's like he's the president of Turkey. Of course he got $8. Now, from what I understand, Elon Musk said that public officials may not have to pay the $8. So there's that. But anyone else has to pay, which kind of makes sense. I mean, how many people are public officials, right? So, in other news, also on Twitter, this is like the biggest level of holy shit. So let me tell you something about America. All right, you may not know this, but I will lecture you. In the United States, most of the mainstream media is left-leaning, right? So MSLSD, the Clinton News Network, like all of these, they're very left-leaning. But when it comes to radio, everything is right-wing. And this is what pisses off a lot of left-leaning activists, because people, what do they do when they drive a car? They listen to radio. So the only news outlet in the United States that is left-leaning and it's on radio is NPR. And when I say left-leaning, I mean extreme far to the left. Their audience isn't very diverse. It's middle-aged white women. Today, they have done something which is very peculiar. Like, I don't know how to describe. Look at this. I always didn't want to tweet this out, but it's something everyone needs to know. NPR on the radio this morning played audio of a woman getting an abortion. You can hear the vacuum turning on, crying, moaning, and the doctor telling her it's done. I heard about the woman giving birth on Discord once. Apparently the entire Discord was traumatized. But Demoshkashi. Apparently, this is something that didn't convince many people to be pro-choice. Like a lot of people that I know were pro-choice, and after seeing this, they were like, you know, you can have so much brain drain at a company until you get to that level. Like, you gotta understand, you know, like, they are ideologically motivated, so they literally believe that showing this to the public is a good idea. Like some editor put a stamp on that. Like he looked at it and said, you know what? Yeah, sure, why not? Like, if I was to do propaganda for the, you know, if I was to do propaganda for pro-choice activists, you know, they hire me, they pay me, it's a job. I'll be like, fine, fuck it, I'll do it. How much do you pay me? All right, oh, it's a salary. You know, if I'm not doing it, someone else will. If I were to get someone telling me, it's like, hey, you know what, we should put this on a radio, I'd be like, no! Just no! And I'm not a big brain guy. I mean, I'm not very smart, you know, but like, the vacuum, yes. Hi V, how are you? Bewildered. Bewildered by the power of the NPR. No, I mean, really, you can only hire people based on everything else besides merit until you will reach a level where your company is mouth breathers. And there's absolutely nothing that will prevent them from sabotaging you. Like, probably they thought it's a good idea. Imagine, like, you know, there are some things that are common sense. Like, if I want to make an ad for toilet paper, I want to actually show a person taking a shit, you know? Like, I want to actually show the defecation and the poo-poo. The poo-poo caca. I want to show that. Even if it's a toilet paper ad, because it's called common fucking sense. I used to listen to NPR every day on the way to work. They took a sharp turn to the far left in the last 4 years. Man, like, calling them far left is not even accurate. Like, you need a new definition. I mean, they are beyond radical extremist left. Like, if you manage to get a couple of snippets of NPR, you're like, what the fuck are they on about? You know, like, you want something that they're smoking. Like, They are so fucking progressive. It's like listening to radio stations 50 years in the future. I'm giving a lecture on physics next week in Sicily. Pretty nervous. Alright. I shall help you. 338327950288. Because I have given presentations before. Just don't think about the fact that you're in front of an audience. Like, just focus on your papers and just talk. And that's it. You know, like, it's simple. Just, when you look at the crowd, just don't look at someone's face, right? Because that's something else that can, trip you, right? Like, if you're looking into someone's face and they're looking at you, right? Don't do that. Just look at the crowd as a blob of people. My buyer's remorse will never be greater than NPR's remorse for airing that audio. I'm really curious, like, what conversation goes on inside the NPR right now. Like, I would want to know, because, like, there's probably a higher up that went, like, what the fuck? Because now it's on every single, like, right-wing outlet. Like, everyone is talking about it. For your $8, Twiddle nobility status, your blue blood transfusion will be digital. I hope you rule as Vlad Dracul Tepes III. Did take their black holes make a forest of the impel? Let me show you something about the blue check marks of Twitter. Hold on. This is another thing which made me get a little bit of a chuckle. But actually, before that, you know, like, hold on, another ad. Apparently, this was an ad on Twitter, because we're talking about Twitter things, right? This one isn't political, but it's still like, what the fuck are you doing? So, this is an ad for Uber. Uber Black. Grandpa would have wanted you to treat yourself. You're going to the beach to spread Grandpa's ashes. Uber Black. Get your right. What the fuck? You know what? Like, this could actually work. This is so stupid, it might actually work. Why the fuck not? I could actually see, yeah, you know what? Go with this, because people will remember that shit. Like, there is no fucking way you're going to forget this ad. Like, it's etched in your brain. Like, you're sad, you know, like, Grandpa just died. He passed away. You're sitting there crying, and it's like, gotta call an Uber Black, because, like, I need to treat myself. Holy shit. Did you see the UN women tweet about journalists? Motherfucker, I posted that tweet. I made that tweet famous. We can only hope that the blue checkmarks actually check out. No, I want them to stay on Twitter and suffer as everyone else gets a blue checkmark. And they have to realize, holy shit, I'm like everyone else. Turns out that I'm human. The great equalizer, Elon Musk. Making everyone a blue checkmark. My grandfather would be disappointed if I took an Uber to do that. Man, my grandparents, they lived through difficult times, and they didn't like seeing people waste money and stuff. So, yeah, like, my grandparent would be upset if I did that. But we do not have, like, the whole ashes thing. Like, we do not have the whole culture with ashes. Like, we bury people, like normal Christians. We're not heathens. So, no, we have graveyards and stuff. Uber fly, throw her corpse into the sky. Chad Krillin, you know what? Hold on, I'm going to, like, I really like this. This is going up. This is going on the wall. This is the vibe that I want the stream to have. All right, let me show you something else. This is even more beautiful. The level of Utsukushiness on the stream. So, the one with the journalists, eh? Fine. Let's go with the journalists. I had to fact check this to see if it's legit. But you know what? I'm not even going to fact check. It's from UN Women, chat. It's from UN Women. You decide if it's true or fucking not. You know, like, yeah, you make it. So, Spoiler warning, this may be false, this may be true. You get to decide which is which. You know, you log on Twitter, go to UN Women and search for it. Of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. In 2020, this was 6%. On the International Day of End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, let's say it out loud, stop targeting women journalists. So, of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. Naruhodo. Okay, well. I love how, like, because, like, the focus is UN women, right? Like, it's not like, stop killing journalists. No. That's not our job. Like, we're laser focused. Like, we are paid to care about women and only women. Even if we can't define what a woman is. But still. You call bullshit? You know what? Let me actually check. Hold on. I'm going to fact check. Like, you know what? You made me do it. I'm fact checking right now. I so hate going on UN women. Like, the level of stupidity that they post is contagious. So, chat. You know what? I would make a poll, but I'm afraid that you guys will peek. So, let's see. Let's see if it's true or not. You know, let's see if it's actually genuine. So, how about the UN women here? It's like, alright. So, I'm scrolling down. There it is. Holy fucking shit. Look at this. Look at it. Oh, my fucking lord. Alright, it's true. Alright, fact check debunked. Why is no one telling me I got a string of hair that's like an antenna? Why is this? This is how I communicate with the UN? Huh? The world we live in. Just... I didn't even have to scroll that up. It's like, there's a game, you know, you need a stopwatch to play it. So, once every month, right? Like, you pick a number between 1 and 30. And that is the day of that particular month when you can play the game. You can't play it in that way, right? So, you go on UN Women, Twitter, and you start scrolling down, and you're counting the seconds to see how long it takes until you go to the batshit crazy post. I haven't managed to get more than 5 or 6. You know? It's just, it makes sense when you consider that journalists are the people. Of course, they're on a higher consciousness than people. Like they have ascended, they transcended the level of humanity. Like they have a level of understanding worthy of demigods. Like they are so enlightened that they're in. I mean, they're the only people that can commune with the science. I read on a lot of journals that you should you shouldn't do your own research and your own investigation. No, like the only person that can commune with the science is the journalist. All right. I'm enormously proud of the work we did to implement the UN guiding principles. By the way, isn't UN Women, what wasn't Saudi Arabia like the chair of UN Women? Because I remember like something loosey like that. Like, like the level of honking was so loud it was heard in Romania as well. Like, this reminds me when the Human Rights Charter was signed at the United Nations. You had the Soviet Union and its satellite members, guilty of some of the worst human atrocities at the time, wiggling their finger at the West and talking to the West about how they should respect minority rights and shit. Anyway, man, hold on. Let me see what else we got. Speaking of UN, We got a new challenger has entered the ring. Look at this. How dare you? How dare you intensifies? Greta Thunberg. By the way, has anyone heard about her recently? Like, did she come up in the news? No. UN's climate conference is a scam, and she won't be attending. The question is, was she even invited? You know, like, I really love the Greta Thunberg approach. H3H3 does it. Okay, you guys know H3H3? A colleague of mine, fellow YouTuber, comedian. And not only him, other comedians on TV, right? So, when they talk, they're trying to reach the audience. They're trying to enlighten people, right? But when they get criticized and someone wants to debate them, it's like, bro, I'm just a comedian. I just do lols. Like, why are you taking me serious? And it's the same with Greta Thunberg, you know, and there were many other examples in the past. It's not just her, but like the idea is the same, right? They get to preach. They get to have like actual statements and points of views, and you should take them seriously. And if you try to challenge them and you're like, well, okay, let's have a debate. But I'm just a child. I'm just a child. Why are you doing? It's a really excellent way of defense. Late night comedians did it as well, right? What was it? The name? Whatever, you know, like there was a late night comedian which said that Africa won the World Cup when France won the World Cup, and then the French diplomat was really upset about that. He said that like all of our football players identify as French, like none of them have ever claimed that they have an African nationality. Like what you're doing is against the French constitution, like something like that. And he was like, "Oh, why is he talking to me, a comedian? I just do yak jokes." Yeah, Trevor Noah, yes. Trevor Noah. I'm sorry, I don't know their names. They all look alike, and by they I mean comedians on late night. I mean, they have the same opinions. They support the same candidates. They have the same. I guess maybe like the news that they present is different, and they're not funny. I'm sorry, legit, like, I watched Stephen Colbert. I was like, come on, make me laugh. And I was open-minded. I was like, come on, just one fucking joke. Just please, just one joke. Just, you can't do it. You can't do the joke. No, nothing. And by the way, it's even worse if you take out the laughter from the audience. Right? Like, if you take the audience, and if you look at the audience, like, if you know anything about the audience, because, like, I remember, like, I used to talk about this with my friends in high school. Turns out I was right, as usual. But I was pointing out how the laugh track is there in order to add comedy to things that aren't funny, you know? And they're like, no, that's just the audience. That's just the audience. And I'm like, okay, fine. And it turns out if you actually watch Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, any of these with laugh tracks, you know, if you remove the laugh tracks, you do not get the jokes. Like, you do not laugh at the joke. The laugh tracks are actually integrated into the viewed experience, right? So, it is very fascinating. And if you're in the audience, they actually tell you when to laugh. They tell you when to applaud. They tell you when to boo. And by the way, like, the whole thing, it's like, oh, it's just the audience. Like, why don't horror movie have an audience? Like, imagine watching Alien. And when the monster appears, you hear the audience go like, oh! You know, when Jason comes out from the shower, you hear like some women in the audience screaming like, ah! Oh my god. The audience is like a really powerful tool in manipulating the viewer, because human beings have this type of herd mentality, right? Like, you want to belong, you want to have friends, and in order to accomplish that, you have to blend in, so to speak. So if you hear people clapping, you think that, oh wow, well, what they said is really popular, is really good, right? If you hear people laughing, it's like, oh wow, that was a really funny joke. It's kind of like, and it probably happened to you, you know, like someone says something and you don't really hear it, but everyone starts laughing, so you start laughing as well in order to make it so that, you know, you got the joke as well. Yeah, literally, like the laughter is there to suggest the humor to you, so you can submit. You can actually go on, you can actually go on YouTube and you can look for Friends without laugh track or Big Bang Theory without laugh track. It is very depressing, I'll tell you that. Like you're like, what? Like at every single joke, you're like, what?
Here you.
Oh my god, let me show you something else. Right, this is coming from the media. I mean, this is a level that is going to deepen your understanding on the economy. So listen to this. Holy shit! I mean, the mental gymnastics that they gotta do. Listen.
The people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk.
Because you didn't have inflation at this fucking level before now.
So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime.
Inflation is in the fucking dictionary. What the fuck?
But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have...
Oh my god, the evil is out now. The genie is out of the bottle. How would I know about inflation if I went shopping and everything is more expensive? Oh, what would I do if the Republicans didn't taught me about it?
Never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word.
You know, this is anyone that that read communist propaganda. I'm talking like actual communist propaganda, you know, from behind the Iron Curtain. Like they really hated the nobility. And one of the myths that communists created was that the nobles wanted to keep the peasantry stupid, so they wouldn't allow peasants to read, right? Because like, what, you know, if you allow peasants to read, they start using slogans that they don't understand. They start using chants and words that everybody, they're like, oh, the Republicans, they taught the peasantry about inflation. Jesus fucking Christ. Enlightening people is awful. This is an economic term. Why are the Republicans using economic terms to the masses? The masses do not understand economics. Only us, the journalists and the Democrats, understand. Taught them the sacred text without the church. I fucking called it. Literally, yes. Like, they're upset that the peasants have learned the sacred text without the church. Was the Ukrainian situation, the Ukrainian refugee situation in Romania, not so bad. Most of the Ukrainian refugees went to Poland because the language is similar and most of them had jobs there. Others went further west, so Romania didn't actually take that many. Zlixian Doppelganger, does that twit really think that the average person didn't know what? Yes. Yes, Lixa. Literally, that's what she's saying. That is what she's fucking saying. Now, you know, I don't know her circle of friends. Like, maybe she's surrounded by very uneducated people. And, like, they wouldn't expect that, oh, wow, my neighbor who never ties two words together now is talking about inflation. But, yeah, like, I think most people understand inflation is bad. I mean, I guess, like, America never experienced... I mean, sorry, no, my bad. America used to have like some really nasty inflation in the past. But like no one that's alive today experienced it, so maybe that's why. Let me show you something. All dollar bills. So let me show you something. This is actually interesting trivia. Like I didn't know about it, and it's something that I consider to be quite fascinating. So, these are discontinued dollar bills. The $2 bill, I didn't know that it exists. But apparently they still are in circulations, like, but they're discontinued, so they're not making more. The $500 bill, this is from Monopoly, isn't it? Right? The $1,000 bill, and the $5 and the $10,000. You know what? I think this one, the $100,000 bill, this one should have Joe Biden on it. This one should have, like a president that's worthy of this. Yeah, by the way, the reason these bills existed, I think it was for banks to trade amongst them, right? So in an era where you didn't have internet and you didn't have the ability to just do online banking, then banks would just issue $100,000. This was never intended to be in circulation. Like, normal people would never hold a $100,000 bill. But I do think this one did, right? So the $10,000 bill was printed for consumption. And I believe it happened during a time of inflation. Right? So you did have, like, the $10,000 bill. But still, like, the $100,000 should be with and you know how, hold on, like, I will show you the exact picture of Joe Biden. I will show you the exact the exact way I would let's see if I can find it. So Joe Biden, here we go. Right, this is the one. This is classic Joe Biden. I call it the classic Joe. Like, this is how I would have him on the $100,000 bill. Like, when he does a press conference. I mean, I don't even know if he does them anymore. But when he used to, he would leave before the questions, right? Like, right before the Q&A, right? Mr. President, and this is what you would see on this is like the last image engraved on your retina before they would cut the feed. So that would be exactly what I would put on the $100,000 bill. Like, just, oh god. $100 is the biggest banknote now. Yeah. It's true. And it's also due to the fact that people don't use cash as often, which in my opinion is a mistake. I'm really glad that Romanians aren't falling for this stupidity of using just electronic transfer rather than using cash. But if the inflation keeps going, who knows? You may actually do get the $500 bill. All of the state employees that lost jobs because they remained, I can't talk about that. Not yet. Maybe next year. YouTube still has TOS based on that. What can I do? Maybe next year I'll start streaming on Rumble. You know what? Maybe I should try streaming on Rumble. I wonder if anyone is going to watch me on Rumble. If I get some people watching me on Rumble, that would be great. And then I will be able to talk about a lot of things and a lot of opinions. You will see that I'm a very opinionated person. There are things, chat. Holy shit. There are things that you don't think I have, but I do. I have opinions on everything. Literally. Some of them more controversial than others. There was one. I had the news, but I think I deleted it. Let me check again. So there was this news article that The Independent released, which was saying that you need to treat blue check mark the same way you treat people with the MAGA hat, because the right-wingers are taking over. And I'm thinking, like, I was already treating check marks the way you would treat someone with the MAGA hat. Um, also, this is something else which transpired. You know what I hate? When you copy a link from Discord and it actually, instead of like giving you the actual link, it sends you back to Discord. It's so fucking annoying. Like, it's built in their system to keep you on their fucking website. But I'm smarter than them. I know. So Elon Musk, it's time to stop. Ian Miles Chong. It's time to stop appeasing to the activists because they will stop at nothing to hurt Twitter, regardless of what you do. Elon Musk says you're right. Now, apparently, he did meet with the activists. He says he did attempt to listen to their quote unquote demands. Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue due to activists group pressuring advertisers. Even though nothing has changed with content moderation and we did everything we could to appease the activists, extremely messed up. They're trying to destroy free speech in America. Yeah, I think you believe you bought a platform, but in reality you bought a war. A lot of this is probably just facade for the public to gather support. It's like, look, you know, I'm such a nice guy. Say hi to Rosa. Rosa is here. So it's the whole thing. It's like, oh, I'm such a nice guy. You know, look, I'm trying to please left-leaning people, and they're so mean. And I believe that there is no fucking way Elon Musk didn't know what's going to happen, right? So when he bought Twitter, he probably took into account that it's going to have all of the ad revenue going away. But at the same time, like, what he is doing is really smart, because now he's going to try to make it sound like, oh, well, Twitter is the free speech platform. So if you're a company that goes to these activists which are unreasonable, and then you're against free speech, you're against the American people, blah blah blah. So I think that's what he's trying to do. I do think he played the activist, right? Because I was saying this on another stream. When a lot of people are like, oh my god, he's talking to the ADL. Oh, he's talking to... And I was like, well, yeah, but like, you don't know what he's talking about. You know, just like hearing them out doesn't mean that he's doing what they want. So, now apparently he claims that he's not going to do what they want. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what's in the future. But basically, you know, like, everything that's happening on Twitter is entertainment. Like, you shouldn't look at Elon's tweets as if they're gospel or anything like that. I mean, everything that he is talking about, you know, this is not... Like the journalists, for example. You know, the way the journalists treat the Twitter buyout is like Elon Musk woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to buy Twitter. Like, he got angry over someone tweeting at him, and he said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it. He was planning this for a couple of years before he went public. So basically, don't look at like what he's tweeting. It's just entertainment. Yep. See, I had another one that was interesting. Oh, I can't talk about Kanye West. I can't talk about Kanye West. Holy shit! You know what? Maybe one day I'll be on Rumble. And I will be able to talk about Kanye West. Holy shit, I will talk about Kanye West a lot. For many reasons. But what I can't talk about, look at this shit. Oh my fuck god. Chat, when you think about Hercules, what do you think about? I'm talking about Disney Hercules. Right? Did you look at Disney Hercules when you were a kid? Did you grow up with him? Let me show you. Hold on. You know what you need to think? You need to think of fucking TikTok. Disney live action Hercules, which everyone wanted. Another live action. Oh my god, they're so fucking popular, aren't they? I'm pretty sure, like, when you're going to show your kid one day, Rosa, you know, when you're going to, I mean, you're gay, so but you still can have kids. Like, lesbians can have kids. They can go to a sperm bank or something, right? Or adopt, right? And you're going to have your little Rosa there, your little snake demon, whatever. And you're going to be like, I'm going to show them a Disney live action. Of course not. You're going to show them the fucking original, right? You're going to show them the timeless classics. This is exactly the face that I make when I see another live action. Look at this. This face describes this accurately. Look, like someone actually drew this. This mug is exactly how I would look when. Right now, Disney live action Hercules will be experimental and inspired by TikTok. Man, hire me, you know, like, all I will do, like, you don't even need to pay me that much. I will just tell you if your ideas are good or not, you know, like, like, first of all, like, the fact that you're making a live action, alright, just stop it. Just make something new, okay, get some chatbots, go at character AI, get the chatbots to talk to each other, use that. That is much better than anything your staff can come up with. Okay, like use that as a building block and go from there. But make something new. By the way, did you guys notice that they don't make romance stories anymore? Like what's the latest romance story? So what I'd say about the romance story, right? Like Disney movies or Anastasia. Motherfucker, I cried at Anastasia the Once Upon a December. That was moving, you know, tear jerking. What else? Tangled. Tangled was good. Tangled was a nice love story, you know, when they were singing about the flower and shit, and, you know, like, it was healing the wound, and was a moving moment. I think, like, Tangled is the last love story that ever came out. What other love stories do you know? Like, what is one that's like, oh my god, that's so sweet. That is like, wow, so romantic. Such wow. I would take my girlfriend to see that movie. I don't know it. Yeah, Marriage Story. Yeah, literally. A Marriage Story. When is the... Right? Old Yeller? Old Yeller is not a Marriage Story. What the fuck is wrong with you, Spock? Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Yes, anime makes romance stories. Hollywood is incapable of. Like, for the last 5 years, everything is fake and contrived. Like, the relationship between Finn and, Tila. So, and Rose Tico. But even, right, so He-Man and Tila, right? Let me, just a second, right? He-Man, Tila, this is perfect, right? So, this is modern American love story. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so first of all, right? Like, he looks perfect in every single fucking way. And I'm not talking about his body, right? Because like, feminists say, but it's not the body, it's the looks, it's the character. You shouldn't look at how a person looks like. You should look at the character. Alright, let's look at the character, right? Courageous, brave, willing to sacrifice himself for those he loves, intelligent, he is very rich, I mean, he's the prince, right? Like, almost every quality, every desirable quality, like, if you get 1,000 women to do, like, a brainstorming, a think tank, and, like, they need to write the qualities of a man, He-Man has them, okay? Meanwhile, Tila, I mean, besides the fact that she has a jaw, which makes me jealous, like, if I had her jaw, I would walk into a bar, I would make women melt. Like, you can cut diamonds with this. Same with the pecs. Like, she is well built, right? Not very girly, not very feminine, or whatever. But, like, her character is rotten to the core. Like, she's selfish, egotistical, places herself in front of everything. When He-Man dies, sacrifices himself for her, she goes in front of his grieving parents and goes like, but what about me? Why does no one care about me? Right? How are these two people in love? Like, he can have literally anyone. What does he like in her? What is it? Like, what are the sparks? What exactly does she have which she finds attractive? I want to know. I don't want Tila as a friend, let alone a companion, right? And it's not just her. Like, look. This other lady. Like, literally, all of the relationships are so fucking bad. Right? Same thing, her personality is atrocious. Unbelievably atrocious. Selfish, vain, like, puts herself in front of other people. But like, okay, fine. Even with that aside, there's no chemistry there. Like, the way they fall in love is just so bizarre. They have a couple of dates and then they're kissing and they're making out. And I'm like, but there's, like, I, as a viewer, do not feel the same attraction. Like, when you watch Aladdin and that bitch is on the carpet flying and singing, you're like, holy shit, these two people are in love. And you feel the connection, you feel the attraction. But, like, this is just, what the fuck? They cannot make romance anymore. It's absolutely incapable of people that work at Hollywood to create anything worthwhile. Kangaroo Caliphate for $10. Have you ever heard of Ioan P. Coalino or Mircea Eliade? They are excellent Romanian scholars on the subject of Western cultural history. Rumor has it that Ceausescu had Ioan killed. So I did hear about Mircea Eliade. He is mandatory study here in Romania. I've never heard about P. Coalino. Your voice? What about my voice? Oh yeah, another one. The Little Mermaid. That's also a really good romance story. With the shalalala kiss the girl bullshit. Like that. That's also very romantic. She blackmails a guy into giving him her number. By the way, I will show you something else. I need to make a video about this because this is actually very interesting. It's something that fascinates me, right? Because I looked at the anime and I'm trying to say, like, okay, so why is anime doing romance so well? And it's because they understand femininity. And I'll explain something. Like, just one example, right? Listen to this anime, right? So basically, this is a very old anime, very vintage anime, which got a remake, which is very in tune with the original, and because of this, it's extremely popular, because it stays true to the heart of the original one, which a lot of people grew up with. And I'm looking at it, right? By the way, the whole anime is about him accidentally proposing to her, but he had a different girlfriend, which he loves. So now this alien chick is obsessed with him and is stalking him and is preventing him from being with the girlfriend he loves, right? Now, if you were to make this lady into a morbidly obese or an old woman, she would look like a stalker and a harasser, and you would call the cops on her. But because she's so cute and adorable, it actually works, and the viewer kind of finds this funny. Like, even though you shouldn't, right? Because, like, what she is doing is sexual assault. Like, I mean, throughout the entire anime, like, she is a criminal. But because she's a cute and beautiful girl, like, the viewer gets a different experience. Whatever, most people probably don't even think about it. What I am trying to say, though, and this is something very interesting. A lot of anime, and you'll notice this with anime, like, with the girls in the animes, they have very beautiful long hair, but they also have hair accessories. This one, I think, hold on, like, she does use hair accessories every now and then, but even if this character doesn't, like, so many other anime girls, which are filled with hair accessories, right? And the reason for this is that hair is actually very important in a woman, and you can convey just so much emotion just by showing hair. Like, look, in this scene right here, right? It is just like 2 seconds, and just by using the hair, right, she established dominance over this other person. So what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things that are gender signifiers, right? And it's specific to the feminine gender that they can do by having the hair. So what do animators in the West do? They do this shit, right? This is what the West does with their female characters. Like, literally, the first thing they do is they cut off the hair. It's something that I noticed, right? Like, they want to rob the character of all femininity, like all the female energy that it can possibly have in the character. They want to rob it up. And meanwhile, if it's a male character, they pump it up full of testosterone. They make the male character into He-Man. They try their best in order to make the character as masculine. Rosa, you have beautiful hair on your character, and even if you don't, you have hair accessories, so it still counts. What the anime is that with the girl? I don't know. I don't watch it, but it's all over YouTube. I keep getting spammed with it. Yasuo, I think. Let me check. Urusei Yatsura. Urusei Yatsura. It's a comedy. It's again, it used to be very popular before I was born. It's one of the first harem type animes, and it's getting a remake now, which is a lot more popular. You do have the goggles. The goggles count as a hair accessory. Stop arguing with me, because you're going to lose the debate. I have a microphone and you don't. Bleh. But yeah, it's Urusei Yatsura. I think it's made by the same people which made Ranma 1.5. I'm a little bit old for that, I gotta say. Like, that type of anime doesn't really attract me anymore, but if I was a teenager, I would definitely watch it. How the fuck can you forget about your VTube bundle, Rosa Qualo? You just see it every fucking day. What? How can you... You know what? Never mind. I will end it here because it's getting late, so I need to go with my Ushi waifu and turn in for the night. And I would like to thank you all for watching. I appreciate it.